Hi guys, and welcome back. Now imagine this. You have a card selected, any card, in this case it's the 9 of clubs, and you have the card returned into the deck, and you apparently lose it in the deck, just like this, by shuffling. But now your spectator says, but maybe I could shuffle the cards as well. And you go, well, of course you can. And they do, they shuffle or they cut, whatever they want. But still, you have their selection, the 9 of clubs, right on top. Now, how do we do that? Well, today we're talking about palming cards, how to palm cards or palm cards. So we're going through the palm chapter in the Royal Road to Card Magic. It starts on page 82, I believe. And I'm going to show you 2 ways of palming cards today. I will show you how to palm the top card, and I will also show you how to palm multiple cards from the top. So let's get right into that. Now, first of all, we need to know how to hold or conceal the card in our palm. So using the Ace of Spades in this case. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to place it into your hand like this, and you're going to hold it with diagonal pressure between, you know, the tip of your little finger and basically the ball or the base of the thumb over here. So you have a diagonal pressure just like that. And it will feel a little bit awkward in the beginning, but if you just, you know, go about your day and holding a card whenever you can, you'll get very used to it quickly. Another thing to think about is that in the beginning, you're going to want to have your thumb like this. But that is not a good idea. That is like a telltale sign. So make sure to have your thumb like this instead. So not like out like a hook, but in here instead. So that is how you hold the card. Now we're going to get into how to palm it out of the deck, or from the top of the deck. Now, of course, there are many ways to palm a card. You can palm it from the top of the deck, from the bottom of the deck, or from the middle of the deck. Essentially, any card you want. But by far the most useful one, according to me, is the top palm. Palming from the top, which we're going to look at today, as I said. These 2 palms I'm going to show you are a little bit different from the ones in the Royal Road to Card Magic, especially the second one, which is about palming multiple cards. I think the one in the book is a little bit outdated, so I will show you another great way of doing that. So let's begin by learning how to palm the top card of the deck. And from a very, you know, non-misdirection, and you can see right into my hands, but it looks like this, okay? Right. A little quick disclaimer here. I've gotten so used to doing the one-handed top palm, so I've kind of forgotten about how to do it two-handed. More specifically, when you do the one-handed, you have to flex your hand a little bit, like this, in order to palm it off. You can see the flexing of that hand. And one of the big advantages of doing the two-handed palm is that you don't need that at all. If you look at my hand now, it doesn't flex at all. The finger stays like at the same place. So a little disclaimer, if you see me flexing my hand out of like a very bad habit, you don't need to do that, and you shouldn't do that when you palm with 2 hands. So now that you know that, let's get into it. So as I said, we're going to palm off the Ace of Spades. And how do we do that? We're going to push that card over a little bit to the right. A little bit to the right and upwards, so it's diagonal. You have a little bit of a diagonal pressure, so it's not straight to the right, but it's upwards, pushing basically in this direction, 45 degrees to the right and up. So it comes off diagonally like this. I'm going to do this very clearly now, a very big brief over here so you can see it. But in real life, yeah, do it as small as possible, of course. But it's going to protrude over here, and you're going to come over with your right hand. And you're going to put either the little finger over here. You can use either your little finger or this first crease of the middle finger, depending on what feels best for you. But you're going to do that over here, And when you do that, you see what happens? That card is levered up into your palm, basically, or at least partially. From here, when you get familiar with palming, you will be able to just, get it into your palm without doing anything. But at the beginning, you might want to, when that card is levered up, and you do this while you square the cards, you might want to push that card into your palm using your right fingers over here. So you push that right into the palm. So let's go through that one more time from the top. So the top card is pushed to the side and it's pivoting a little bit against your first finger over here, your index finger of the left hand. You come over with your right hand, you move this thumb out of the way as you push down on the top card so that it's levered up into your hand, just like this. And now as you square, you simply move your left hand over here and you push that card all the way up into your palm. And then you can square over here as well. You make this squaring action. And you can also, a nice little touch is to curl in your index finger just like this and hold it like this. And it looks, well, more unlikely that you're hiding something when you do this. So that's a nice little touch. So that's palming one single card from the top. So now we're going to learn how to palm off multiple cards from the top of the deck. And this technique is specifically or very different from the technique in the book. And it looks like this, just like that. We've palmed off the top 4 cards. In this case, it's the 4 aces. Okay, now how do we do that? This is the Joe Berg palm, as described in, I think it was first published in Card Control by Arthur Buckley in like the 40s. So it's a pretty old technique. And there in the book, I believe it was described as palming only 1 card. But here we're gonna talk about palming multiple cards, of course. So first of all, you need to have a break below those 4 cards. A little finger break, just like this. Stand a little finger break. And here's what's going to happen. You're going to let go of these fingers so that the break opens over here as well. And you're going to come over with your right hand and you're gonna contact this corner with your little finger. And what's going to happen, I'm just going to show this from a very exposed view, is you're going to pivot it forward and then you're going to push down and those cards will go right up into your palm like this. But you do this, of course, with your little finger of the right hand. So you come over, you contact that corner. Now that gets pivoted against the left thumb over here. So you pivot that and you push down a little bit and that will go right up into your palm. And in the beginning, once again, you might want to push up with these fingers to get it into full palm, Once you get familiar with palming, it's just gonna, get up there naturally. And again, you can curl this finger in. It just looks a little bit better. And that's how you palm off 4 cards. It's really not that hard. It's a really fast palm. It only takes a second. I think it's great. One thing I should point out with both of these palms is that, of course, this arc that you're holding with your hand, you need to keep that arc, You can't go down like this. The cards needs to go to your palm, not, the palm to the cards. So you have this arc with your hand. This from an exposed view, obviously, and you keep that arc at all times. And this palm, by the way, you can do with only 1 card as well. If you get a break under 1 card and you just come over just like that and you palmed off 1 card. Some ideas on how to get that break. Well, you can of course do a pinky count if you know how to do that. Or you can always, after you've done some kind of shuffle to control those cards or keep those cards on top, you can always say something in the lines of, okay, so I've shuffled them, and you just casually spread the cards and then you catch a break as you square up, you catch a break and you look, your audience members right in the eye and you say, maybe you want to shuffle as well. And that's all the misdirection you need to palm those off and give those cards to him. So that's one idea of how to get that break. Okay, so once you have a card palmed in whichever way you want, what do you do with your hand? How do you hold out, basically? So there are many ways of doing that. One standard way is just, sitting like this. And especially if you do this normally, when you're not holding a card or palming a card, this is very natural. Or you can sit like this, and don't worry too much about bending the card. As long as you have high quality card, the bend will come out. Or you can hold your hands like this at the edge of the table. You can move the card box out of the way, come up with different combinations, move that out of the way, sit like this a little bit, sit like this. If you have a tie, you can adjust your tie. You can go up and adjust your glasses if you have glasses. My favorite way, in like a bar setting, you usually have a drink, and it's a very natural way to just hold a glass like this and keep the card palmed while they're shuffling or whatever they're doing. So that are some different ideas on how you can hold out. You just need to learn how to get comfortable with holding out. And don't, panic about it. And just be calm and collected and comfortable with it. And, you won't arise suspicion. If you have an uncomfortable vibe, they will pick up on that. So, yeah, just, learn how to get comfortable with palming and holding out. And that's really one of the biggest secrets to palming. Now let's talk a little bit about replacements. Replacing cards can be definitely a video of its own, but I will give you just a couple of ideas. So let's say you palmed off the 4 aces like this, and they have shuffled the cards or whatever. One way you can replace them is by just doing a kind of a ribbon spread. It doesn't have to be fancy, but just, do some kind of ribbon spread, and you say, yeah, now you shuffle the cards, something like that. Just very casual, Another way of doing it, and this is from Expert at the Card Table, is in the course of running cuts. You have these palmed, and you're gonna do a running cut sequence, which looks, something like this, from the hands to the table. You'll replace the cards on the bottom. You do a fake cut first, dropping your cards, and then just keep cutting like this. It can be casual and pretty sloppy, just like that. And you've replaced those cards on the bottom. A third way of doing it is to simply, after they have shuffled or cut, to just place your hand on them and you slide it over the edge over here and you take it into your hand. It's not like the fanciest way of replacing cards, but it definitely works, I promise you. This is probably the replacement I use the most. And it's, yeah, really gets by. So play around with that, and this is just a couple of ideas to get you started. Okay guys, before ending, I just want to give a quick word of advice. Like with all palming and stuff like this, top change, all that happens right in front of them. But the biggest secret is getting comfortable with it. The first time you try to palm a card, you'll be super scared that they will catch you. And they might do, and then you know that you need to practice a little bit more. But as you've palmed cards for a while, and as you've done that to spectators a couple of times, you will get more comfortable with it. And the more comfortable you get with it, the less suspicious it will look. So don't be frustrated in the beginning. Just keep practicing and keep performing with it, and yeah, you'll be fine. Just know that it's natural to be scared in the beginning or worried in the beginning, but you'll definitely get it down if you just keep practicing and keep performing. Also, the coming tricks will be tricks where the palming happens with a lot of misdirection and with almost no heat on your hands. They will be perfect to kind of practice the palm. Okay guys, I hope you liked this. If you have any questions, just let me know in the comments down below, and give the video a like and please subscribe, and see you back next time. Bye bye.